Hey folks, welcome to the Almond Landscape YouTube channel. Today we are building, and as my dad used to say, we shot a bear, Paw did. Mr. Tyler is going to be building a grill island here at the shop and with our friends Unilock, and we're going to be building it out of a Lineo wall product, and its rough dimensions are going to be about 3 foot by 6 foot. We're going to have a nice limestone cap on top of it, and we got a really nice grill to put in it. We're brand agnostic here in regards to the grills, but it's a super nice one, nicer than the Walmart one I've got at my house. Full stainless, the whole bit. It sat on my own patio for I think 2 years, and I never got around to putting it in my own place, so here it comes to the shop. When you build a grill island, it doesn't have to be built on a concrete slab. Now, caveats to that. You have got to be confident and good. It's one thing to be confident, but it's another thing to be good. And by good, I mean knowing that your subsoils are properly compacted, and you've got to know that your base, whatever base material you're using, is ready and adequate for the construction of a tall vertical structure like this. And if it's an independent wall, that's a whole nother ball of wax if you're going to be building stuff. It's a structure that has three-dimensional depth to it, let's say, like a grill island, 3 feet depth, as opposed to like a tall standing seat wall that's, or an independent wall of Lineo or whatever that's going to be that tall. It's got to have embedment, footings, all sorts of different stuff. For a grill island, as long as you're confident that your base is proper, and again I say confident, that you know that it is solid. So in this case, we are fortunate to be able to forego any base and subsoil compaction because it's already completed with our bird poop covered, our beautiful Arcana pavers. The shop status, as you know if you follow the channel at all, we don't have any of this underside done yet. We're getting there, work in progress. But all this is complete, and we're sitting on a base, in this case, of number 57 limestone, and then Tyler here has screeded out, which you've seen in all our videos here, this number 9 bedding stone, which all we're doing is taking a screed bar like this. This is a 3/4 inch black iron, which is 1 inch OD, getting them perfectly level side to side, front to back. And if you've attended Hardscape Academy in-person trainings, you definitely would know how to do that. And lays those out, gets them right, and then we screed off that number 9 stone perfectly. Now it's ready to start laying in block. And Tyler's doing some rough dimensions there because I have thrown him to the wolves as far as planning goes on this. Sorry, Tyler. Making sure that your work area is as close as you can get it. Obviously, we've got the work truck up here as close as we can, so we're not walking a bunch of distance. Maybe even set up sawhorses, anything we need here to make this, effective. So that all being said, that's the initial part here, and we'll carry on from there. Here we are, a lot of progress. Tyler getting it built up here, awesome. Getting our gapping right for our stainless door. It's going to go in here. Real simple structure here, but One thing with this Lineo block, you've got to be, when you're laying it direct like this without the spacers that are included in it, it's 2 plastic strips. That gives it a little bit of a reveal. You've got to be very careful with any discrepancies in the block, so you've really got to keep an eye on it and make sure it doesn't get ahead of you. And again, because that's a very, very tight edge, so you've got to watch it when you're laying this kind of block, because unlike the weathered material, it has some leniency if there's any tilt or rock to it due to a deficiency in the block. When you're doing this, you want to use a minimal amount of glue so that this thing is making direct contact. When we set that block down on there, we want to get that stuff smeared pretty thin so it's a direct block-to-block contact with that glue in those pores. Of course, pending code and all that kind of stuff in your jurisdiction, your area, we want to make sure that we have ventilation holes for firing of the gas. Propane and stuff's a little different animal. We want those vents really low. Again, this is all going to be code dependent, so check the code in your area. Propane sinks, and so we'd want that propane to be able to leave the structure as fast as possible. A couple cool things Tyler did here is you can see our cuts are a little bit of an angle, right? Instead of trying to get it perfectly square in this case, this gives you a little bit of leeway in case your cut is just a little bit out of square or something. This gives you the chance to set your material in right here, and it still kisses real nice at the face, so you can saw kind of from there and cut it back. So gives you a little bit of wiggle room if you need to kiss block right up against it, so you're always making that face touch real nice. So nice work there. Other than that, just make sure as you're building up, nice and square and true, and keep going up. You want to watch too on a hot summer day and things like that when you're building, because if you're using a lot of glue, this thing can morph and shift on you, and we've seen it happen. We've done it and learned the hard way. If you get a lot of glue in this thing and you build up real high and that glue's not fully set up yet or even tacked, this structure will shift and warp and walk around on you. So that's why using just the right amount of glue is a really important thing. So nice work, Tyler. Looking real good here. All right. Awesome work here by Tyler. I'll try to stay out of your way, buddy. So a few things here in our construction of it. Things are nice and level side to side. That's beautiful. And working out. So when you run across the front, you've got these doors like this. And you're going to tap con them in, or, you know, redhead, whatever. These kind of stainless steel doors here. And then you're going to need a ledge generally, you know, here to support this veneer across here, or however this. But whatever you do, this is pretty much the cut and dry of it, is you take in a piece of angle iron. Now, if this were out in the weather and I was really worried about it, we would make sure this was stainless or aluminum. But back here under the roof and all that, again, it's camp almond here. I'm not worried about it. That would be it. Also, me practicing welding and with Levi, my youngest, messing around with a welder here. But that, of course, is tap conned in there, so it's super sturdy. You could even use a couple dabs of glue to hold this in place, and then continue coming up from here. Our countertop is on the way. It'll be here in just a little bit, and this is looking great. So these doors and stuff like that's available at Green Foundry. Check out our friends at Green Foundry and get your own setup, I guess. Long story, but we cored out a pretty good size hole here. One is for a sleeve. We need to run a PVC sleeve through there for the flex pipe. We end up busting that off there, and that's me. It's not Tyler. I'm out here screwing up his work. But if this is troublesome to the point we don't like it, we'll get I'm going to call it a beauty ring, but we're going to put a piece of cedar over top of this or something just to clean that up, or a piece. We've done PVC board. You name it, there's a million ways to skin that cat when you're at this stage of development in it. So the big reveal, folks, of the grill island being about 90% complete. You ready? Bam. Isn't that gorgeous? So nice. Tyler did a really nice job on this. I think I picked up a block or two, so I get some credit there, I believe. So here's a few scenarios that we had to improvise, adapt, and overcome. Guru stuff there, folks. Whatever. So here's a few things. Our countertop that actually came to us free from our friends at Simcoe, now Site One. It was an old seconds unit. It had a corner cut out of it. It's got some staining. And as Pap says, I love free, end quote. We've got to do a couple things. So this was 38 by 78, our countertop. Okay, awesome. Well, what we didn't catch was we built our structure 48, because it was totally freestyle. I said, Tyler, just build us a grill island 3 by 6. End of the day, done deal. Well, to have dimensions less cuts, it went 40 inches by 6 foot. Well, our countertop is just that, 38. So with an inch of reveal on the front, which I really wanted to try to have, but because ideally I'd love to have more reveal each side, but we just didn't have enough. And because we had to cut extra off of it because it had a big corner cut out of it, and that's from the previous people, whoever had it returned it. I don't know what in the world the story is, doesn't matter. But we thought, well, if we slide it forward, we'll have, just like, you know, slid forward just an inch, we have a 2-inch on the back. What do we do with that? And someone here had a great idea. Well, why don't we take part of our cut pieces, we'll rip it down, and then we'll set it on here enough that we can safely adhere it both sides. And so it's not a hazard if somebody pulls in this thing, it pulls it off them. I still might Tapcon even just for extra safety. No, I will, because you've got to think about this stuff in your projects. That a little kid comes up here and hangs on this thing and pulls this, I don't know, 50-pound piece. That's a kid killer. That's in your company, you go bankrupt, that kind of stuff. So we're gonna run Tapcons, a Tapcon or two, just two. Then it won't take much, but we're gonna Tapcon that into there and just make sure that's extra secure. You just don't know the circumstances people end up on. Now, not in this case, but maybe in your clients' houses, but say your homeowner, your clients, they go away for the weekend and the kids have a party while homeowners are gone and people are up here dancing, wild stuff. Who knows? You don't know. But that's why you got to watch when you do mitered corners and stuff like that, potentially weak points. We've got to make sure that's done really carefully. Long story short, we decided to pull this forward an inch to get reveal on the front of it here, overhang. And now that thing can sit on there real nice. It's not sitting on there perfect because it's not the be-all end-all piece. But that's going to sit on there real sturdy. That's going to be awesome. And then from this front side, that's going to be a really nice, like, little just backsplash touch, you know. And then when we get around to doing some landscaping, I'm going to do like a little patio. We're going to do a design contest in here for people that follow us. But we'll put some tall evergreens here or something, and we'll kind of clean that up and tidy that up a little bit. So that's going to be really cool. When you put these handles on, we did not, but you want to put some Loctite on those screws so that these don't come loose. But in here we've got storage. You could, depending on what level you trim this out and price out your work, in here, you know, you would pave this in so it's nice, all that. Right now we've got a little, about 9 man-hours in this, plus setting the lid. You know, all our excavation was already done. Soils exported, base imported, compaction, set, all that. So that was a few man-hours right there of work, not necessary. Our materials right here, no mobilization, drive time to site, none of that. So really what you could do is, it would be probably a long 12-hour day to get this all built in one day. And that's with everything you need on site, ready to go. Plus your plumbing contractor, so now we got to get our gas line over to there. I would also tell you to make sure you get a pressure regulator on those lines for grill islands if it's off the main line of the house, or make sure you spec that your plumber is what I mean. Then next week, sometimes it's a Friday evening here, we'll sand that in, we'll rip down that paver, fit it in there, we'll embed this. Probably hit that with some concrete on the backside just to make sure that gets embedded and holds up our bedding material again, which is that fancy number 9s. Get that in there, sand it, get our fancy covers on the backside, all of that. So that's a semi-complete project. The other thing too, by the way, is another thing you got to price into this and plan into this. There is a god-awful amount of dust from all the work, all the sawing, all that stuff. And so you need to plan on having someone in here from your team spending 4 hours, you know, setting up, power washing, cleaning up your site. That's what Andy and Jeremy call finishing strong on your projects, right? So that's a big deal. Otherwise, turned out beautiful. Nice job. And I appreciate Mr. Keith coming in on overtime and his 5th day of the week, because we try to work 410s. And without him coming in, he wouldn't be able to go up and get that countertop for us from our friends at Site One there, as well as return some material, pick up some material for next week's job. It worked out real well. Generally, we have everything delivered. That being said, that's it. That's a finished project. We're gonna add a little bit of trim right in here, something non-flammable, you know, whatever for our grease tray. But we gotta add just a little piece of something in there, be it stone or whatever. Maybe even a ripped down piece of this across there as a little trim accent. But turned out really nice, so very cool. Nice job, everybody. Team Almond, your Almond Landscape. Well done. Hey folks, we appreciate you watching on the channel here today. If you like this content and want to see more of it, please like, follow, hit the subscribe button, all that stuff here at Almond HQ, the Hardscape Academy, Kid Contractor Podcast, all that. We thank you.